I'm hitting to where I'm having a whole roadblock because I have well over 300 videos to film, and right now my brain hurts. Welcome to a brand new weekly series where I'm trying to get a few things up and running on some other stuff, but here we go with Lyoko Weekly. The weekly show where we're just going to be sitting down, me and my best friend, a ValkyrieAsh corpse, just going over a show from our own childhood of Code Lyoko. Say hello to the people, Ash.
Hi guys. Man,
And
it's really a blast from the past.
it is, but we're going to kick things off with the first, not chronologically, but publication episode of Teddygozilla. Now, Teddygozilla is the first episode that was released to American audiences during the mid-2000s. For American audiences, it was for Cartoon Network's block of Magoozy, if memory serves.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, but this episode is following how two student reporters end up somehow in some capacity have a stuffed teddy bear possessed by an artificial intelligence get into an enlarged state and start wreaking havoc. More on that in a minute. But let's talk about the episode in of itself, where we're introduced to our full-blown setting, the academy in question, which I will probably remember in future episodes because I tried to keep all the notes of everything about the episode in my head, not the behind-the-scenes stuff.
Caddick Academy, bestie, Caddick.
Caddick Academy, thanks, bestie. To where these two student reporters, I'd say in, like, what, elementary school, middle school?
Let's see. Roughly, they are 5th and 6th grade.
Fifth and sixth. So yeah, elementary school for us, but also being whatever, as we're also joined by my co-host from the Seekers Weekly of Kara. So the episode is following Millie and Tamiya, who are student reporters, trying to talk about the school dance, to then introduce the more minor antagonist for the everyday slice of life effigy of Sissy and her cohorts, Herb, who I swear is weirdly angry, queer-coded, and Michael? Is his name?
I think. Hold on.
It's Sissy.
Don't quote us. Don't quote us on this, guys. Let's see. You think we would remember, their names?
We probably should. We probably should, but it's okay. So obviously, Sissy.
Nick.
Okay, Sissy, Herb, Nick. So Sissy's trying to discredit these poor little 5th and 6th graders because what else are you supposed to do when you're basically a pseudo nepo baby who has the principal wrapped around your fingers as if you're Veruca Salt from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory? So they're just trying to talk about the dance. Sissy's being a bitch. The kids just want to talk about the whole thing for a report because it's for the school paper and for the school news report. And then they're just trying to talk down to these kids just trying to do their own little job. And so Millie and Tamiya are our segue to meet our focal protagonist of Ulrich, Odd, and Yumi, who are just in the gym, just trying to set up for the dance. And all Millie asks is for basically the more attractive boy, I guess, of Ulrich to just ask, hey, would you like to go to the dance with me or whatever? And Ulrich just being like, it might be inappropriate. I mean, I'm older than you, and it might be a bad look or something. So maybe no, because it might send a bad message. Which, rewatching this as adults, is a highly respectful thing to do. Trying to avoid going to a dance with a 5th and 6th grader when you're an older classman might send a bad look. Odds are maybe if it was still him taking her, it's just like a chaperone thing to just hang out. Different vibe still, but it also comes off a little oogie to have someone older taking someone super younger to a function like this. But for the show, it's portrayed as if Ulrich's in the wrong for telling a 5th and 6th grader this, which, as a dad and an adult, as a weird combo, I'm like, this, I don't see the problem in how Ulrich did this. He was respectful, he was kind, he was whatever. But we still have a plot to get to, where Millie has a stuffed toy, a stuffed plush toy. And right now, she's angry, talking about how she wants revenge on the older kids because they're older than her, and she wants to be older, so she can have a say. And from there, our actual antagonist of an AI by the name of Xana possesses a plush teddy bear.
I still don't know how the fuck he did it.
When we get further on in this weekly series, we'll get to where he can possess people and it makes a lot more sense. But in a pilot episode to where there's no indicating marker that the plush animal has any bits of mechanics inside of it, it's just a plush toy. I digress. So the toy ends up being the monster of the week thanks to Xana. What do I mean by monster of the week? Well, it goes on a attack page, not rampage, attack page to go after Sissy. And then when Millie and Tamia are reprimanded by Jim for not really following the compliance in the school. Again, very reasonable to be a little bit upset with students not adhering to the rules of the school. And Jim's giving them the right act because he really is trying to do his job as whatever is faculty at this current moment in the show. And then he gets attacked by the teddy bear as well. Kind of makes no sense for Jim. And so we're then finding out that there's an activated tower in our focal location for all of the combat and all the other stuff away from the slice of life of Lyoko. A virtual world where for right now, only right now, there are 4 sectors. But we're only looking at the first one, where in the pilot, we're in the desert biome, which looks like crap. I mean, really this looks like shit. It looks like we slapped this together in Blender at the bare minimum for fans. And we're gonna render these polygraphs a little bit too shoddy, too late for this pilot. We're not gonna be sure what to do. Anywho, it's from here that our 4th person of note that we're actually going to focus on of Aelita, the person who is on Lyoko, why? Stay tuned, is talking to the man in the chair, the 5th and final protagonist of Jeremy Belpois for the full name. Lots of French names and Japanese names I'm going to get to when I feel like it. Trying to talk about how there might be activity on Lyoko, which we don't find out until later in the episode is because there's an activated tower. What does that mean? We'll get to that in a few episodes to come. So from here, the whole entire protagonists are just like, hey, we need to figure out how to stop this from happening, prevent other stuff from going on, and exposit on what this means if we only have everyone go and no one stay at the school. Because apparently, you find out later on in the series about how they're able to do this, but for right now, there's an ability that they have thanks to a supercomputer to reverse time and undoing a lot of damages. But if people die in the original timeline, it's arguably impossible for them to return to the original timeline and be alive. Apparently, we're going to address what I mean by that in a weird bit several seasons from now, because there are some weird loopholes to address on that front.
Mm-hmm.
So, for the time being, the only main protagonist that can go to Lyoko would be Jeremy Belpois. I'm kidding. It's Odd, full name Odd Delrobia, who is going to go to Lyoko. Why? Because we need a man in the chair. Also, he couldn't, set up a whole automated program to run so he could also go to Lyoko. I'm not going to address it, because if I do, we'll be here all fucking day. So, the first protagonist that we get onto Lyoko, they look weird. I mean, the 3D models remind me of Beast Wars Transformers from the late 90s, which I've been rewatching for a thing I'm doing, for a thing that I'm also doing with the fam. But overall, he looked very, very weird right now. A little bit too
Okay.
glossy, and the outfit doesn't look the best. He's just.
No.
The Blender program was not here. This was truly slapped on, make whatever for the show. But while I'm focusing on the remaining tension in the real world, Bestie, from here on out, we're going to split it up to where when it's time for Lyoko, you can cover that for all the action, the suspense, the everything, and I'll focus on the slice of life slash monster of the week narrative.
Okay.
So you take it from here for the Lyoko stuff, and I'll wrap up everything for the monster of the week.
So, when our wonderful heroine of Aelita and odd. He's very odd, let's be honest, guys. But we love him nonetheless. Let's put him as, our comic relief, so to speak, in Code Lyoko. So when Odd arrives into Lyoko in this, sand area, so to speak, this desert region, they have to find this activated tower. And what this activated tower, it allows Xana, who is, the person behind all of these attacks, to get access to the real world. And with that happening, a lot of shit gets a lot of really, really wonky, really, really fast. As in this episode, it was a giant ass teddy bear making attacks. So once they were fighting these creature called the Cankerlets, they kind of have, I guess, like a small little hitbox compared to most of the creatures in Lyoko. But they kind of give me like crab vibes, don't you think, Bessie?
Yeah, but they're not called crabs. We get other things called crabs. So I'm like,
I know.
whatever. We got like these little hermit crabs not called crabs, and things that look like spiders that aren't spiders, and little stick bugs that aren't stick bugs. So, okay.
It makes no sense, guys. Let's be honest. So as Odd is trying to fight them off, he does get hit hard because each of their attacks is 10 hit points to who they hit. And Odd's job in Lyoko is to protect Aelita so that she can get to the activated towers done by Xana. So when you see in the show one tower that has a blue aura around it, essentially that is a safe tower. Now when you see an activated tower by Xana, it is red. So that is hinting like, Xana is getting access to the real world. So essentially, Odd get hit several times to the point he is down 50 hit points out of the 100. And so once they had fallen, they were able to find a secret tunnel.
Through the mountain.
Yes. You heard me right, folks. Secret tunnel.
Secret, 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 secret tunnel. But not before, and this is going to be a weird thing. I'm only going to do this right now. There's only one season where Odd has this power of seeing briefly into the future. It is never explained. It's never really pointed out why. They give a weird hand-wavy explanation in future seasons why it's not here. But he can see into the future.
Which is so weird because you would think that should have been a thing to be progressed throughout the rest of the season. But we're not going down that tangent. Even though we probably should at some point. But not right now. So when they were going down the secret passage, a mega tank rolls in and, attacks them with its giant laser. And, nearly getting hit more than once. Word, nearly. It missed. Thank God. But nearly. And so once Odd was able to get on top of the mega tank before it could send another additional blast, he was able to hit it in its weak spot and destroy it, so that Aelita could go into the tower to activate it. So that, nothing bad is happening in the real world. That's what happened on Lyoko.
So while Aelita and Odd are trying to deactivate but also activate, it's a lot of conjecture. Right now, Ulrich is trying to find his friend slash love interest slash whatever of Yumi, because Yumi is also on the hit block for the teddy bear. Why? Again, it makes no realistic sense. But they end up getting to the dance where Ulrich is able to try to do some stuff, but Yumi is able to do more things in the background. How? Why? It's never on screen, so don't worry about it. Instead, we have to focus on Odd being wherever in Lyoko, but Ulrich's being a little bit hassled by Jim about his wardrobe because, he looks unlike everyone else at the party because he's trying to save the day, but whatever. And then he's being harassed by Sissy with Herb and Nicholas, where from that one scene when she's talking to him, when you pause it, it looks like Herb is looking at Ulrich a little bit lovingly.
It does. It really, really does.
Gives off that whole, are you secretly gay, Herb? Like, what's with that whole stare down, player? Like, why are you frozen like this? So then it's going off to be like, oh, we're crowning some student for something. It don't matter. It don't fucking matter. It's just a popularity contest. And so Ulrich tries to snatch up the mic to tell people about how there's a giant teddy bear about to attack the school. Where people are just like, shit, we gotta get the straitjacket. One of the kids is having a breakdown. And then Jim breaks in to then say, hey, I also got attacked by a giant teddy bear. And the principal's like, shit, one of the fucking staff's having a breakdown. We gotta get the straitjacket. And then everyone's just probably thinking about calling every kind of medical facility, but then it all stops because the giant teddy bear attacks the school. And then Xana's just like, shit, they still in the goddamn school. These humans belong in a insane asylum. I'll get the straitjacket. And so afterwards, he's trying to go through. He hits Ulrich a little bit by scraping against his back. It's very dramatic. But the moment the tower is deactivated and activated, it's a whole thing. The whole story ends up recycling back to where it first began thanks to a return to the past command. And it all just kind of ends with Ulrich deciding to go with a 5th/6th grader to a dance that honestly he should not have agreed to. He did the right thing the first time. And that's how our first episode/pilot ends. Honestly, when me and Ash were watching this, I made the comment of everything feels like it is pilot coded because it feels rough. It feels a little rushed in production. It feels like it's struggling to be on its feet to tell its story properly. But damn it, they stuck the landing well enough, not only in France, but in America, to continue on from here, pumping out different episodes, getting the whole stuff still circulated, and it really shined better than it deserved to. It has its problems, it has its flaws, but at least for the first episode for release, it definitely stood the testament of what it was trying to say. But that's just my thoughts. What about you, bestie?
No, you're not wrong. So, for me, watching it, it was, something that really caught my interest, which, out of most people, it's very hard to keep my interest with stuff.
Yeah.
But it's just, the music was great, and then, watching the characters, grow, it really, caught my interest. The theme song is definitely my favorite.
I know. I know, because I can still hear the theme song in my head. I want it to leave my head.
Too late.
They're starting to sing again. Anyway, we hope you guys enjoyed the kickoff for this, where if you guys don't like this video, hey, we're still gonna fucking do this, because this is still gonna be my YouTube channel, where I'm just kind of surprised at the time of recording this that I'm sitting on 700 subscribers. Where the fuck did y'all people come from? Oh wait, I'm gonna look over to one of my other co-hosts for another weekly thing as the person responsible for this. For anyway, we'll see you guys in episode 2. Seeing is believing. What are we seeing? What are we believing? It's hard to say. But until then, throw out your teddy bear, and definitely don't agree to go on dates with 5th/6th graders if you're older. You creep ass.